I just may pay an unhealthy amount of attention to tennis shoes, but I think we just saw the new Vapor Cage 5, and I think it's on Rafa's foot right now. Let me show you. Hey, what's up? Zach here. And on this channel, we do a ton of dissection of professional athletes' custom shoe gear, the stuff they actually wear to compete in. And Rafa Nadal has always fascinated me more than most just because his custom shoes in no way even closely resemble the shoes that he endorses, the Vapor Cage 4. Because previous to this year's Citi Open, Rafa was actually playing in a custom shoe made from the parts of the Nike Court Ballistic 2.3, 4.3, and the Zoom Cage 3. However, as soon as I started seeing pictures of him at his academy training for the summer hardcourt swing, and then pictures of him actually at the Citi Open, I started realizing the shoe he had on his foot was wildly different even from that custom shoe he was wearing prior to that. Now, if you look closely at this new secret shoe, or what we think is going to become the Vapor Cage 5, the uppers of it look strikingly like the Vapor Cage 4 with just a few really key differences, and if you ask me, some really huge upgrades. Now, the overall shape of the uppers appears to be pretty similar to the Vapor Cage 4. The Nike swooshes are in the same location, and just the overall shape is pretty similar, but if you look at the actual materials of the upper from the Vapor Cage 4 versus this new Rafa shoe, on the Vapor Cage 4, you just have all these outcroppings here of rubber on the inside of the shoe where you're going to toe drag, and you have some kind of up here on the heel just in case you really go extreme. However, on this new Rafa custom shoe, the uppers appear to be an entire bed of this rubber reinforcement, almost like the Asics Court FF2. What I like about Rafa's shoes is that reinforced rubber that goes all the way around the upper of the shoe, especially on the inside, has dimpling in it for some air channels, because one of the biggest problems with the Vapor Cage 4 is this upper material is just so padded and heavy that it really doesn't breathe very well, and I think that's one of the reasons Rafa doesn't use them. So if this new upgraded version has a lot more breathability, we're already off to a great start. Now, of course, on the Vapor Cage 4, you have this two-piece tongue here that diverges toward the inside of the shoe, toward your big toe joint, which is a design I absolutely hate because I feel like it doesn't give you a lot of push-off force. But on Rafa's version of these that we're seeing, he still has that Court Ballistic 4.3 tongue with a traditional three-piece setup, three-piece tongue setup. Now, I'm not sure we're going to see that in the stock model because the Cage line has gone with a more experimental lace entry, with the Zoom Cage 3s being the traditional slipper tongue, and then the Vapor Cage 4, like I said, being the two-piece tongue. But besides Rafa's custom tongue, if you just look at the overall shape and design of that new lace entry system on those prototypes, it's one of the main reasons I'm confident this is the prototype for the Vapor Cage 5. Now, Nike is really notorious for taking technology they have in current shoe lines that they've really thought kind of worked well, they've gotten good feedback on, and adding them to future shoe lines to kind of build upon the success of previous shoes, right? That lace entry system reminds me a whole awful lot of the new Nike Vapor Pro. It's diverging more laterally toward the outside of the shoe. And that's just really good for push-off force, really gives you a more cradled feel. And I think you're seeing it on the Vapor Cage 5. And a reminder, if you want to do more forensic shoe sleuthing with me, make sure you're subscribed to the channel, because the larger this community becomes, the richer this tennis sneaker culture becomes. That's a win-win for everybody. Now, I am still seeing the same midsole foam here as the Zoom Cage 3, which I would expect Nike to move on from in the stock model or the model available to you and me, because from the Zoom Cage 3 to the 4, the Zoom Air unit moved to the forefoot of the shoe. So I'm assuming in the Vapor Cage 5, you might get a full-length Zoom Air unit, or stick with a Zoom unit in the forefoot, or maybe even get a Zoom Turbo unit. And the last, but definitely most interesting design element of these new prototypes has got to be the outsole tread. Now, in the images we're seeing of Rafa's customs, he's still using the same tread design as the Court Ballistic 2.3 with the shank of the Zoom Cage 3. He really hasn't switched from that in a long time. However, the shape of the rubber on his shoes now that you can see is the same shape as the Vapor Cage 4 with these two wings that you can see on the forefoot of his shoe. So now you can see, as compared to his previous custom shoes, he's now on the same shape rubber outsole as the Vapor Cage 4, which I'm guessing is now a new design element that they are keeping in the next iteration of the Vapor Cage line. But if you're still skeptical that this is a prototype for the Vapor Cage 5, if you look at this picture right here, you see Nadal and one of his trainers, coaches on the side. If you look, Nadal's got the exact same color shoe, but in this new prototype version, whereas his coach is using one of Nadal's old custom shoes, one of the ones that has the uppers here, the Zoom Cage 3. So I think you're seeing where Nike is sending Rafa some of these prototype shoes that are in the same colorways as his older custom shoes. So if he doesn't like the new prototypes, he can still go back to the old ones and not really many people will notice, except for maybe foot doctors that run a sneaker review channel. But of course, I want to hear from you. Do you think after all this evidence I presented that this is the prototype for the Vapor Cage 5? And if it is, would you want to buy it? I know me personally, if Nike has fixed a lot of these glaring problems in the Vapor Cage 4, namely the lace closure system and the really bulky, heavy uppers, then I think Nike might really have something special here, kind of like they did with the Zoom Cage 3, which is just wildly popular and known as one of Nike's best tennis shoes. Let me know in the comments down below. And if you want to see what's under the hood of some other professionals' custom shoes, make sure you click into the playlist up above and subscribe down below. Respect your rubber and foam. I'll see you in the next video.